Hello, you're watching ERi-TV and welcome to English News Broadcast. These are the top stories. 21 patients diagnosed positive for COVID-19 tests carried out. Training organized to 34 executives. Global COVID-19 cases and death toll continue to accelerate. And 16 die in Nigeria after collapse of high-rise building. The local news. We have an announcement from the Ministry of Health. 21 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at quarantine centers and testing stations in the southern, central, and Ansaba regions. Out of these, 12 patients are from the quarantine centers in Ndagirgis 11 and at Rayhwan southern region. 3 patients are from quarantine center in Karan 2 and Hamal Malo 1 Ansaba region. 6 patients are from testing stations 4 and quarantine centers 2 in Asmara central region. On the other hand, 4 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the Ansaba 3 and Central 1 regions have fully recovered and have been discharged from the facilities. The total number of recovered patients has currently risen to 6,736, while the number of deaths stands at 45. And the total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 6,860. Minister of Health, Asmara, November 2nd, 2021. Training on administration and leadership was organized to 34 exemplary youths in the Northern region. The program that was organized in cooperation with the regional administration of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the region was attended by youths from all line ministries in the region. The 21 days training program included organization and integrated leadership, preparation of research paper, effective time management, administration and leadership, conflict resolution at workplace, as well as leadership and nurturing political community. At the event, Mr. Taghla Zara, head of political affairs of the union branch, presented a report on the significance of the training program in developing the overall capacity of the youth in the region. The chairman of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, Mr. Salah Ahmeddine, expressed expectation that the trainees will apply the training they received in their workplaces and transfer the knowledge they received to their peer groups. Speaking at the event, the governor of the region, Ms. Asmarat Abraha, called on the trainees to play due part in the implementation of the charted-out development drives. Meeting on strengthening the relationship between parents and schools with a view to develop the teaching-learning process was conducted in Tsorona subzone under the team Joint Effort for Development and Productivity. Stating that the role of parents is essential in improving the performance of students, Mr. Suleiman Mahmoud, head of the Ministry of Education of the subzone, called for reinforced participation of all stakeholders in the effort to develop the teaching-learning process. Mr. Haile Mengesha, head of social services in the subzone, expressed on the significance of strong relationship between parents and school communities and the development of students' school performance. The parents expressed readiness to play due part to encourage their children develop interest in their education. At the event, awards were handed over to students that scored high points in the national 8th grade examination. There are 32 schools in Tsorona subzone ranging from preschool to high school providing formal education and 6 adult education centers. Residents of the administrative areas of Bakla, Marat, Ndalal, and Lava conducted water and soil conservation activities as well as renovation of roads. The residents said the popular campaign was aimed at renovating the dirt roads that have been damaged due to flooding and that were creating difficulty for facilitating their daily lives as well as redressing the environment. Commending this strong participation the residents demonstrated in the popular campaign, Mr. Idris Ali, Managing Director of the Bakla Administrative Area, called for reinforced participation for better outcome. And now back with international news after a short break. Welcome back. The global COVID-19 death toll has exceeded the 5 million milestone today, with the United States remaining the worst-hit country. This according to the latest data released by the Johns Hopkins University of the United States. Previously, the global COVID-19 deaths topped 1 million on September 28, 2020, hit 2 million on January 15, 2021, exceeded 3 million on April 17, and crossed 4 million on July 7. 4 variants of the virus, namely Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta, pose the greatest public health threat so far to the world. More than 100 countries have found the variants of COVID-19, and the proportion of the Delta variant has exceeded 50% in over 90 countries. The United States remains the worst-hit country with more than 46.9 million cases and more than 767,000 deaths, accounting for more than 18% of the global caseload and nearly 15% of the global death toll. At least 16 people have died in Nigeria's commercial capital of Lagos after the collapse of a high-rise building that was under construction. This according to the State Emergency Service Chief. Building collapses are frequent in Africa's most populous country, where regulations are poorly enforced and construction materials often substandard, rather standard. State official Olufemi Oshatulu said a search and rescue effort had been launched for survivors on yesterday's incident. 4 people were rescued alive and 3 more treated for minor injuries at the scene. Witnesses say up to 100 people are missing after the luxury residential structure crumbled, tripled, working under a pile of rubble. Rescue workers used excavators to sift rubble in the glare of floodlights powered by generators, as of heaps, shattered concrete and twisted metal engulfed the site where the building once stood as more workers watched. More than 100 countries promised to halt or reverse forest loss and land degradation by the end of 2030, underpinning by $19 billion in public and private funds to invest in protecting and restoring forests. The joint statement issued at the COP26 climate talks in Glasgow yesterday was backed by the leaders of countries including Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, and Democratic Republic of the Congo, which collectively accounts for 85% of the world's forests. The Glasgow leaders' declaration on forest and land use will cover forests totaling more than 33 million square kilometers. This according to a statement from the British Prime Minister's office on behalf of the leaders. A slew of additional government and private initiatives were launched today to help reach that goal, including billions in pledges for indigenous guidelines and guardians of the forest and sustainable agriculture. Iran recently agreed to start the stalled nuclear talks with the remaining parties to the JCPOA aimed to restore the deal. It was announced that the talks will resume before the end of November in Vienna. Iran expects the upcoming Vienna talks will pressure the United States to take practical steps for the revival of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. This according to Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Saeed Khattabazadeh. The JCPOA was reached in July 2015 between Iran and the U.S., Britain, Russia, France, China, and Germany. Iran agreed to hold back parts of its nuclear weapons programs in exchange for lifting economic sanctions by the international community. The U.S. government under former President Donald Trump withdrew from the JCPOA in May 2018 and unilaterally reimposed sanctions on Iran. In response, Iran gradually stopped implementing parts of its commitments to the agreements from May 2019. Now, a reminder of the top stories. 21 patients diagnosed positive for COVID-19 tests carried out today. Training organized to 34 exemplary use in the northern Red Sea region. The global COVID-19 case and deaths still continue to accelerate. And 16 die in Nigeria after collapse of high-rise building. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.